see you. Welcome. Welcome. I'm so glad that you're all here. Thank you for coming. Be safe on the stairs, please. We are thrilled that you are here with us tonight. This is the Minnesota State University Mankato Wind Ensemble, and we are an audition ensemble. We rehearse 4 days a week, and we are made up of both music majors and non-majors. As you can see in the program, I encourage you to take a look and see all the many majors and professions that we have in our ensemble. It's a wide group of students from across the campus. Our first piece on the program is Terpsichorean Dances. It's based on Renaissance style music, and the reason I love that Renaissance style music for wind band is the way that they use instruments in sections, and you're going to get to hear combinations of instruments. And they used to be called consorts, and the consorts originally were made up of like instruments from high to low. And then they started to do broken consorts as they learned more about intonation and balance and creating different colors in the groups of instruments. And that's exactly what you're going to see in this modern rendition of a Renaissance style piece. You'll get a chance to hear all the groups of instruments all the way around the ensemble. You're also going to see a funny instrument in the percussion section played by Noah. This is a very expensive instrument that was created by many, many bottles of Izzy and a couple Sam Adams. Anyway, it's called a lagerphone because you use bottle caps to make the lagerphone, and you're going to hear it play. Do you want to test it? And you're going to hear all sorts of cool sounds coming from the lagerphone. It's very interesting and fun and adds a cool color to the piece. So please enjoy. concert. You heard him play the saxophone. So you've seen him in multiple different roles as conductor and player in the wind ensemble. And we'll be conducting our next piece. So please welcome Brady to the podium.
Thank you all so much for the warm welcome. Again, I'm Brady Weibel. I'm a grad student here. I have the privilege of conducting our next piece, American Elegy by Frank Ticheli. Mr. Ticheli was commissioned to write this piece to commemorate the lives lost on the Columbine Massacre on April 20th, 1999, and to honor the survivors. I was 9 years old at the time, and I vividly remember the news coverage, the national outpouring of grief. And now, 25 years later, we have an entire generation who has grown up knowing nothing else. But though this piece is entitled Elegy, it is not a work of despair or darkness. It is a message of hope. You'll hear at the beginning our low voices begin as quietly as possible, and you'll hear the sound swell up through the ensemble in a rising cry of joy, and that is the ethos of this piece. Now, in the middle, you will hear a quotation from the Columbine alma mater, and followed by a solo trumpet played off stage. And that is to give voice to those we have lost, both that day and since. So thank you for here. Thank you for experiencing this bittersweet but beautiful piece. I hope you enjoy.
I just started learning about Studio Ghibli, and I had wished that I had learned about it sooner. There's so much to watch. Studio Ghibli is producing movies from Japan, and this one was first produced in 1988, if I'm remembering my dates correctly, and is absolutely delightful. My Neighbor Totoro. And we are going, this is a beautiful suite put together by Yogoto, another fantastic composer in the wind band world who has set this suite up just beautifully. The music is delightful, the story is wonderful. If you've never seen it, I strongly encourage you to watch it, and I hope that you enjoy this wonderful suite of music. So now we have a little homage to the shift to the season, have a little bit of fun. I love Julie Giroux's writing. She's incredibly creative and quirky and takes the holiday music and presents it in a way that you don't expect. You will recognize all of the melodies in the Nutcracker Fantasia, but it's sort of set up in two different sections. The first section is the person who just came from attending the ballet. And they're thinking about all of the different parts of the ballet. You'll hear snippets of the melodies, you'll recognize them, and they're just a little bit maybe out of sync with what you expect. And then there's this moment where it shifts, and all of a sudden the person is part of the ballet. And it becomes a little bit more exciting and a little bit more frenetic. So I hope that you enjoy this wonderful, sweet Fantasia, Nutcracker Fantasia. special concert, and there's always sadness that goes along with it. I always go through a sense of celebration and mourning, because I know that these wonderful people are going to be going on and doing amazing things. But on the other hand, I'm not going to get to see them every day anymore, and that makes me sad. So unfortunately, if we hung on to every student for the rest of our lives, it would be the biggest band ever in the history of the world. And so, you know, life continues to go on. So one tradition that we started last year, and which I've made a terrible mess of, is that we are also providing all of our senior members honor cords when they graduate. And so that's these purple items that you see in front of you that I'm trying to organize here. I'm also going to have a cheat sheet, because I found that it is better to cheat and get it right than to forget somebody and feel really crummy about it. So I use a cheat sheet, and please forgive me for that. I'm going to go in alphabetical order because, well, that's the most fair way that I could come up with. So our first graduating senior is Bryce Berry, who's going to be doing his student teaching this coming spring at Eastview High School. Bryce is from Waseca, Minnesota, an instrumental music education major. And if you'd stand up, Bryce, I know you have a big instrument there. Mr. Toad. And I don't think he really knew what he was getting into when he first started doing this, but that's also his favorite memory of being a part of the wind ensemble, is getting to play The Wind in the Willows by Iman Nameh. And I just want to thank you for all of your contributions. Trombone is actually his primary instrument. If you came to his recital, you know he played more than one instrument on that recital, as well as sang, and among other things. So we are thankful to Bryce for stepping up and also playing tuba with us this semester, and we wish him very well as he's going on to his student teaching next semester. So if you have a job, graduate is Megan Knudsen, formerly Megan Brander. Megan is a flute player and oboe player and saxophone player. I haven't seen you play clarinet. Do you do that too? Yeah. Not a surprise. She's actually a dietetics major, if you notice that in the program. But she has become an incredibly active member of this ensemble, our department, and also an active member on oboe with the Minnesota River Valley Wind Ensemble. So she is a dietetics major from Andover, Minnesota. She's been in the Wind Ensemble for 6 semesters, and her favorite memory is one of my favorite memories. When we first met, we had a long conversation about what band meant to her before she came here, and now what band has meant to her now that she's come here. And her favorite memory in the Wind Ensemble is at her first concert with the group, just reliving and reloving making music again. And she and I have been sharing arts and crafts back and forth. She made a beautiful pair of earrings for me that I found out on my doorknob right after rehearsal today. And so thank you so much, Megan, for all that you have done for the Wind Ensemble. Third on our list, they're all going in their heads right now trying to figure out who comes next. You met Takuro Kaseki last semester, or last concert, as one of our conductors. What's really cool about what Takuro is going to be doing when he goes back home to Japan is he is going to be... let's do this instead of... Oh, there we go. Thanks, Eric. Or thank you, Alex. Sorry. Too much. Okay. He's going to be working for the company of the piece that he conducted, which was Monster Hunter. And so he's going to be heading home and working as project manager with a video gaming company back in Japan. And I learned a lot about what it takes to get a job in Japan. He actually interviewed it last December or January, wasn't it?
Yeah, around that time.
Yeah, he interviewed for it, I think did 3 interviews, and then was offered the job last spring. And so he's known about this for a while, and excuse me, when we found out about that, we decided that Monster Hunter was a great way for him to put a cap on the conducting career here at Minnesota State. And so we want to wish you the very, very best. And I want to make sure that I'm not forgetting, he's been with us for 6 semesters, and he's really enjoyed the opportunity to be able to compare what it was like to participate in ensembles in Japan and to get a different experience here in the United States. So we appreciate all that you have contributed to an ensemble. Thank you so much. Is a senior music education major who just completed her recital as well. We saw her sing, we saw her play her alto, and one of her favorite things to take away from the wind ensemble is this year when she made the switch to baritone saxophone, or actually last spring. She made the switch to baritone saxophone and has been tooting it up like crazy, so we appreciate that, her experience and her participation on the bari sax. She's from Kelsey, Minnesota, which is a little teeny tiny town up between Duluth and Hibbing, and she's been in the wind ensemble for 5 semesters. Her favorite memories are Carmina Burana and Wild Symphony, which was a piece that we did with book accompaniment 2 springs ago, and it's also by playing baritone saxophone is how she met the guy 2 seats over who plays bassoon, and so that's a special memory for her. Next semester, she's going to be doing her student teaching, first part of the semester in St. Clair, Minnesota, and then after that, she's going to finish the second part of her student teaching in Costa Rica, which is going to be amazing. So cool. So please, thank you so much to all that you bring. Positive attitude, smiles every day, a little bit of sass, and it has been an absolute pleasure to work with you, Bailey. Thank you so much. Last and most definitely not least is Eric Morris on trumpet. He is a senior mathematics major who will be graduating this semester. He is from Sauk Rapids, Minnesota, and has been with the wind ensemble for 3 semesters. He has served as a leader in this ensemble, played beautiful solos on flugel and on trumpet, and has also been a really strong leader with the marching band as well, and active participation. He's such a pleasure to talk to. I learn something every time I talk to him and get to know him a little bit better, and we are definitely going to miss you when you graduate. He is going to be take a little bit of time after graduation before looking for a job in mathematics, which I imagine you have a very broad spectrum of all the things that you can do with that.
Yep.
So but I have a feeling he's going to get a job, no problem. No problem. And his favorite memory, there are 2 things, both related to Carmina Burana from last spring. First of all, playing Carmina Burana, and second, having snacks in the trumpet section, tacit snacks, brought by Gabby. Yeah. So could we please have all of our graduates stand one more time, and if you would give them one big round of applause. So So now we make a little transition here. I need to ask all of you, those of you that are standing in the back, please, please, please be incredibly safe. We are going to turn the lights out so that you can see the movie. We have 2 movies that go with our next 2 pieces. You can imagine by the title, Jingle Them Bells is going to present Jingle Them Bells, Jingle Bells in a little bit different way than you might expect. And then we're going to close with the seasonal favorite, Sleigh Ride. And I would ask all of you to please stay in your seats until we get those lights back up again so that there are no horrendous incidents following our concert. Okay, now we say a little prayer to the technology gods that they do everything we need them to do. Jackpot! Do just a test really quick to make sure it's still on. Nope, it's not. Technology gods, we're not listening. Oh, and there was much sadness across the land. Doing what it's supposed to here, not doing what it's supposed to down there. Of course, as we did our rehearsal this afternoon, everything worked perfectly. I'm going to try this, see if we can wake it back up again. Huh, dang. We might have to just go without, which is a total bummer. Talk amongst yourselves. This is going to be the longest 83 seconds in my entire life. Thanks. Anybody got a joke? A clean one? Okay. Of course. Okay, the question becomes, do we wait another 30 seconds or do we go? 30 seconds. Okay, all right. 30 more seconds, we're almost there. We even had it for a second. It was there, and then it disappeared. Cross your fingers. See if I can do this without knocking. Can. Nope. All right. Cross your fingers. Are you waking up? Promising. Just promising. something, awesome. If we don't, it'll be a delightful, cool, and dark evening. Fingers crossed. Do you know what happened? I'm hoping it's not from the HDMI hookup. Okay, there's my cursor. There's something. Awesome. This is good. All right, we got it. Here we go. No, we don't. Okay, all right. Thanks for taking this. All right, here we go. Cross your fingers. Thank you. thanks to the technology gods and the technology gods and goddesses in the back of the room. We so appreciate you. And thank you to all of you for being here tonight. We so appreciate it. We know how busy so many of you are and how much is going on in your lives, and the fact that you took some time to come and be here with us to share some music, we so appreciate you. So we're going to close with the last little holiday, you know what, at the end of the day, and I hope that you enjoy Sleigh Ride.